Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Your boy's name is Mark Roden, and today is part 3 to the multi-part series that we got going on, where we go over different cars under different price ranges. We started at 25k, then 20, now we're at 15k, and then we're gonna go to 10, and then 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 8, 3, 2, and 1. Also, I want to keep you guys informed that SmoothStance hats, SmoothStance shirts, and SmoothStance shorts are dropping tomorrow, baby. Tomorrow, Monday, September 20th. Please stay up to date on that. Follow me on Instagram to stay up to date at ss.marky. I'll drop it then. I'll also post it on YouTube, obviously, and stuff like that. But yeah. Also, guys, all of these lists have 2 honorable mentions, so technically there's 12 of them. And every single one of the lists, I'm going to list you 10 different cars so that you have a total of a bunch to choose from. Let's get right into it. Number 10 is the Toyota Corolla AE86, which comes with a 1.6 liter inline 4 that makes a huge, honestly astoundingly massive number of 128 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive, which makes this car one of the most popular drift cars out there. I don't know why, since they have such low horsepower, but don't ask me. You go to a drift event and you will see one of these things tearing it up. I promise you that. Not only do they perform well when drifting, but they look freaking great when doing it. All right, they look just like when they drive down the course, I feel like there's an angel above me looking down at me. Now, the only problem I could think of with this car would be the fact that it's extremely hard to find one, and when you do find one, there's like a good 10% chance that it's going to be under 15k, but it can be done. All right, it's just really hard with these cars. Number 9 is the Ford Focus ST, which comes with a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4 that makes 252 horsepower, and it was front-wheel drive since it's a hot hatch, and hot hatches just seem to love being front-wheel drive for some reason. And it looked, honestly, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but like regular traffic to me. I don't know why, I just always thought that they weren't that special looking, but nevertheless they are very good performance wise, and they're pretty much just like a front-wheel drive Focus RS, which we all know and love, and we all, you know, appreciate the RS, and so I think the ST should get the same amount of love. I don't know, I think if you want to get yourself into like a hot hatch for very cheap besides the GTI, then this is one of your best bets, if not the best bet. They're also very popular, meaning that there's lots of parts going around for them. They're a Ford, and so there's parts all over the place in America, at least. I don't know how reliable they are, but Number 8 is the 2nd generation Chevy Camaro, which is my personal favorite, and they came with a 3.8 liter V8 that makes 255 horsepower, 3 more than the last car, and it was rear wheel drive. And keep in mind that this car had that much horsepower back in the 70s, which was a big deal, and that still holds up to this day to most cars. Like I just said, we just went over the Focus ST that has 252 horsepower. This has 3 more than it, and it was made back in the 70s. And before you start to comment that you're not going to find one in good condition, you're a car guy. You're supposed to be the one that makes them into good condition. You buy it, then you flip it. It's a project car. It's what we do. And once you finally do get to restore it, it'll be well worth it, since they are such rare, cool, iconic, fast, nice looking, appreciated cars. Like you just, they are a pinnacle of like sports car history. Just don't get into an accident in one, since they are death traps, and you'll be fine. Number 7 is the Nissan 240SX S14. Woo! Which comes with a 2.4 liter inline 4 that makes 155 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive, and once again an absolute drift missile. They also are one of the best looking cars on the market, in my opinion. Like, Jesus, good gravy. They look so good, especially if you get them in the kooky body style. Just like, whoo, whoo. Call the cops, because I'm about to faint whenever I look at those puppies. All I have to say about the S14 is be careful when picking one up if it's been modified, because they're probably selling it for a reason. These cars have been project cars for years now, so just don't buy someone else's project and you'll be okay. They're gonna be hard, it's easier said than done, but it can be done. A lot of the times people that have them as project cars overprice them anyway. The old people are the ones you want to try and find, because they don't know what they have. You find one of those guys that kept it stock and babied it its whole life, and you'll be golden. Number 6 is the Honda S2000, which comes with a 2.2 liter inline 4 that makes 237 horsepower, and it was rear wheel drive once again, which is super surprising considering Honda doesn't usually do that. which is why I think that this car was just so special. Like, for Honda to step completely out of their comfort zone and make a rear-wheel drive car is extremely unlikely of them. But when they do, they make some freaking banger cars. Like, the S2K is known worldwide now because of what they did. Why don't they make more rear-wheel drive cars? People love their rear-wheel drive cars. Every time Honda makes something rear-wheel drive, it sells out and it becomes overpriced as hell. The NSX and the S2000, like, why aren't they making any more of them? I don't get it. Anyways, they look great too. Obviously, they perform pretty damn good. Not the best, but they're still really good at performance, and all while still being pretty affordable. That's worth it in my opinion. Number 5 is the Dodge Challenger R/T, or RT, which comes with a 5.7 liter V8 that makes 375 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive. And before you get super duper ultra happy about that number, keep in mind that yes, it was 375 horsepower, but it's 375 horsepower in an absolute boat of a car. These cars weigh over 4,000 pounds. Like, don't get me wrong, they are still fast, like very fast, but they aren't as fast as like a 350Z would be with 375 horsepower, just because of power to weight ratio. They still like to boogie though, and swinging these things is almost like a second nature to Mopar guys. Everybody that buys a Challenger is just like, you know what I want to do to it? First mod, donuts. That's the first mod that we're going to do to the Challengers. So you'll definitely have a blast, and they have a huge community around them, and they look really good, and all the rappers sing about them. Like, the baby sings about one, so like, buy a car that the baby wants. Number 4 is the Subaru WRX STi Hawkeye, which comes with a 2.5 liter turbocharged inline-4, making 300 horsepower on the dot, and it was all-wheel drive, and that's just like the most basic Subaru thing out there. All of the generations of WRX come with the same engine and same horsepower. I don't understand why they keep doing that, but I mean, whatever, it works. The car is extremely reliable as a daily driver. People buy them all the time. I feel like they're probably the best selling sports car in the world. Don't quote me on that, I could be wrong, but I feel like it's definitely the case because people just buy them every time they come out with them. Since it has all-wheel drive and a turbo, it's not only good on gas because it's turbocharged, but it also is not going to lose control, especially in the snowy areas, since it's all-wheel drive. Not only is it all-wheel drive, but they're also one of the best all-wheel drive systems out there. They have perfected it over the years like crazy. On top of that, all of that, they're still pretty quick little boys, so you still will be able to have a lot of fun when you don't need to daily drive it. Third place is the Audi S4 B8, which comes with a 3 liter twin turbocharged V6 that makes 333 horsepower. And since it's an Audi, it also was all-wheel drive because of Audi Quattro. And the Audi Quattro system is one of, if not the best all-wheel drive systems out there. So daily driving these puppies is absolutely amazing. You're gonna have a blast daily driving these things. You're not gonna be worried about anything. The only thing that you're gonna be worrying about is like the cost of repairs, but we won't get into that. The only bad thing I could think about these cars would be, since these Audi S4s aren't modified as much as other cars, the parts and labor are going to be kind of expensive and difficult just because there's so little info on them. If you know about cars though, and if you're a mechanic yourself, it probably won't be that big of a deal. But since there's like so little people that own them, it's not like you could just look it up and get every sort of answer like you could in a 350Z. Either way, they're really cool cars that can get you from point A to point B in style, and I have to love that. Second place is the Nissan 370Z, which comes with a 3.7 liter V6 that makes 330 horsepower, and it was rear-wheel drive, and yes, it was super ultra duper mega sexy. All right, I said it, I love it. Every single lady in the world is going to give you her number if you buy one of these. There's going to be girls flying over from freaking Timbuktu to give you their phone number because they know that you got yourself a 370Z. You heard it here first. All right. Now, but for real, they are really cool cars, and they're extremely reliable as well. Like, if you live in a place where there's no snow, you can easily daily drive one of these without worry. On top of all that stuff, despite what you may hear on the internet, these little freaking goblins can handle like 800 horsepower on stock internals, which is pretty damn good. Like, yes, I know everybody's all like frustrated over 1,000 horsepower. They all want 1,000, but 800 horsepower is still really fast on stock internals, and it's in a Nissan. All right, like, that's amazing. Now it's time for the 2 honorable mentions, and first off, we got the Pontiac G8, which kind of reminds me a lot of cars like the CTS-V and Pontiac GTO. They're like sedans that are just absolute monsters under the hood, and nobody's gonna like expect it. Like, you go up to a red light and you rev your engine at somebody in a Pontiac G8, they're gonna be like, I don't even know what that is, and they're gonna race you thinking that it's just like a sedan, and they're gonna get gapped. Like, that's why I love that about these cars, but they're really hard to find. Like, a lot of people didn't buy these, so it's gonna be kind of difficult. Either way, if you're looking for speed, this is a great choice. And second, we got the R33 Skyline GTST, Nissan obviously, which yes, can be found under like $10,000 if you wait long enough. But since it's so sketchy buying an already imported car, I think it knocks off a couple of points. Like, trying to find parts for a car that never came to America is going to be quite difficult. On top of that, they do have drift tax, so like you're buying one that you could have been beaten on. And so I couldn't put it in the list just because it's such a sketchy purchase, but it's well worth it if you find the right one. And finally, first place number one is a car that I have come to fall in love with, the BMW M5 E39, which comes with a 4.9 liter V8 that makes 394 horsepower. And it was rear wheel drive since it's just that much of a baller. These cars are just amazing. I mean, look at them. They look extremely classy, but on top of that, they are actually extremely good performance-wise too, especially when they came out in 2002. All the competition in 2002 was still trying to hit 300 horsepower, and these guys were going for 400. That's amazing. I love that about BMW. They're just such mad lads over at BMW. They make some beasts of cars. Now, I know this one was going to be hard to find under $15,000, but I promise it can be done. I know somebody, I'm not going to name him because he doesn't want to be put on blast, I'm assuming. Actually, fuck it, I'll name him. His name's Jim. And he picked one up for 13K, flipped it, and sold it for 19K. That was only like 4 or 5 months ago. Like, yeah, the prices have raised since then, but that's not that long ago. Like, you can still find it. It can be done. You just gotta look very hard and be very patient with these cars. They're rare. They are an enthusiast car, and they're just skyrocketing in price. So it's going to be hard, but it can be found under 15K. But that is the end of this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, be sure to like, comment, and what's the third one? I forget what the third one is. It's right there. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Subscribe, baby. Because we make banger content every single day over here on the Mark Roden channel. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Keep in mind, tomorrow we're going live. SmoothStance hats, shirts, shorts. We're going to be going live. www.smoothstance.com/shop. Be ready. Follow me on ss.markey to be updated exactly when it happens. Can't wait. It's going to be a blast. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Taswadania. Have a nice night.